As global leaders wrap up what has been a thrilling week in the Swiss Alps in Davos, multilateral financial institutions have put forth Africa's key messages towards developing cheaper financing to power infrastructure projects on the continent. CNBC Africa is now joined live by Thierno Habib Han, Managing Director and CEO of Shelter Afrique Development Bank. Thank you for joining us on the show. I know you're fresh from landing from Davos, Thierno, and just picking up from what we've been covering through the week, there's been a big push towards domestic resource mobilization, and as a bank in the housing industry, just give me some of your key takeouts from Davos. Kindly, you can unmute your microphone.
Apologies, some technical difficulties here, but thank you so much, Abi, for having me on the program. As you said, we freshly completed the Davos engagement, and as a member of the Alliance of African Multilateral Financial Institutions, Shelter Afrique Development Bank was represented by myself and our Director of External Affairs. So we had some very productive engagements as part of the Africa Collective discussions with our other sister institutions, members of AAMFI, the Alliance of African Multilateral Financial Institutions, where we engaged other global leaders and global institutions such as the European Investment Bank and EBRD on several matters of common interest, including how can we scale up developmental impact on the continent instead of working in silo in the different regions. It's extremely important to come together in a harmonized manner to scale up investment because the challenges are very large, and one institution alone cannot address all the challenges alone. Even us as the Alliance of African Multilateral Financial Institutions, with all the goodwill and financial muscle we have, partnership will also be very key. Hence, focusing a lot on resource mobilization has been the core of our discussion, not only by developing more of the partnerships that I was just talking about, but also domestic resource mobilization. Development is also a local currency play. We really need to focus on how to generate local currency. And this is what Shelter Afrique Development Bank does with our other partners by issuing bonds in the regional capital markets in West Africa, in East Africa, and all over Africa. Mm-hmm. And we are looking forward to create these platforms where all our institutions can come and co-invest and scale up investments.
And AAMFI has been touted as one of the key platforms that will be able to drive domestic resource mobilization. And I just want to get an overview in regards to where are you seeing some of the sweet spots and low-hanging fruits when it comes to locking in some of these financing across various multilateral institutions.
Yes, absolutely. And those low-hanging fruits actually are the basic building blocks that are required to really drive investments in productive areas of the economies of the African countries. And so some of the low-hanging fruits that I can talk about here all relate to project preparation in general. We really decided that making sure we have bankable projects that are scalable is something that all our member institutions have committed to do. As an example, we have set up this joint project preparation fund to generate urban infrastructure projects across housing value chain worth $1 billion. And also, as AAMFI, we have also this cooperation and collaboration agreement with AUDA NEPAD, that's the AU Development Agency, to seed some project preparation platform across infrastructure worth about $2 billion. So this is a way of really anchoring development in the different countries where we operate. So scale is key, project preparation is key, and even expanding our role in different other sectors, such as student housing, related to housing as well, as I was saying. So student housing also is something that we have talked about, where we are setting up a platform across the continent, because we all know the crisis that we have in many of our universities, where students don't have access to affordable and proper accommodation. So just to mention that the spread of our collaboration is very wide, and we are really looking to leverage the strength of our balance sheet to come together to drive impact.
And looking at the big picture, 2026 is quite fresh, and I'd like to know what would be some of the priorities for AAMFI going forward, and talk to us about any big deals that we should anticipate, and which countries are you looking to put attention to?
So some of our preliminary discussions have been to focus on large-scale, impact-driven regional projects. So we all know about some of the corridors similar to the one in the Lobito corridor, which is connecting Angola, Zambia, and DRC. It's one of the corridors that we really want to look at and see how we can have an integrated approach. And other corridors across other regions in West Africa also have been talked about. So having that corridor integrated approach is something that we will push to connect our markets, to facilitate trade between countries, and to increase that intra-Africa trade, thanks to the IETF, that also AFCFTA, that are really platforms that we will all leverage to drive that intra-Africa trade more and more. Because as you know, today, Africa trade represents about 3% of all global trade, which is very, very minimal. So we're looking to really increase that.
And lastly, listening to some of the global leaders at the World Economic Forum, there was of course, concern around global solidarity and dialogue. And looking at the current state of affairs, financing for African projects is still quite expensive. And one of the things that AAMFI has also been pushing for was the Africa Credit Ratings Agency. And looking at financing going forward, how is this going to play out this year? Are you making any headways around this?
Yeah, I think, platforms are really key, and also making sure that Africa owns its own development is really key. So African-led solutions with African institutions, of course, in collaboration with other global institutions, will be really key. But we really need to bring our minds together to make sure that we scale our impact and our role across the continent. So African solutions for African problems is one thing that we are really encouraging, because we understand the lay of the ground, we understand the markets, and we've been operating in these markets for many years now. And all of us, we in different sectors and different areas, so we are complementary as an alliance of the African Multilateral Financial Institutions. And we are actually also pushing the principle of subsidiarity to make sure that we are more complementary than competing against each other. So that's really our main goal: work together and strengthen our impact.
Thank you so much, Thierno Habib Han, the Managing Director and CEO, Shelter Afrique Development Bank. Thank you for your insights.